Here are the Boston Babes in 3, 2, 1.
The best leadership happens when you step away for 10 minutes.
This is Back in 10. Hey everyone, I'm Savannah.
And I'm Jen.
And this is Back in 10. I'm just giggly right now because Chris called us the Boston Babes. What a wizardly thing to say.
Oh, of course.
If only, and I don't think he knew that we do use that term for other things in our podcast planning, and we've never told Chris that. So he's absolutely meant to be a part of this podcast, and that's so wizardly of you.
It's kind of crazy, to be honest.
A little bit.
I'm kind of
What can I say? We're all on the same wavelength here.
Same wavelength.
I'm telling you, it's the ESP girls. It's the ESPN. The
Same
worldwide leader in sports.
We're on the same sound wave.
Haha, yes.
How punny. Okay, I'm done. I'm done being silly goose today.
Oh man, and my allergies are kicking my butt today, so I'm just going to be wiping. These are not real tears, okay?
Not yet.
So happy.
Oh, goodness gracious. Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, your eyes are leaking. My nose is leaking. At least we're smiling. I have a coffee. We're going to be okay.
You too.
Do you have a coffee too? Coffee. I forgot to put it in my Back in 10 cup.
I didn't. However, I have water as well. I'm staying well hydrated today.
I let my sister's kids decorate my mug. Now they're peeling off, but I got a phone call saying, "Auntie Dolly, I have more stickers to put on your cup." And I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Auntie Dolly? I love it.
Auntie Dolly. Yeah. My that's my nickname. That was my nickname growing up.
How did I not know this?
I don't know. Because I never tell anyone because I don't want anyone to ever use it. And my sister and my family. Jen, that, right? Listen.
Okay, question. We now know
Auntie Dolly.
We now know that Savannah's nickname is Auntie Dolly.
Jen, just Dolly, not Auntie. That makes me sound like an old coot.
Okay, so it's Dolly. Jen, what was your nickname growing up?
I didn't really have one. It was Jen. My grandmother called me Jenny Do.
There it is. There it is. Dolly and Jenny Do.
That was
Dolly and Jenny Do. Back in 10 with Dolly and Jenny Do.
Or Jen. Mm-hmm.
Back in 10 with Dolly and Jenny Do.
Welcome. Okay, so we have...
Welcome to Back in 10. I'm Dolly.
And I'm Jenny Do.
And today, conversations in the practice.
Yes, queen, because gone are the days of the annual performance review. Or they should be gone. And I hate to should on anyone, but I'm going to should. They should be gone.
The heck out of it.
Yeah, they should be gone. They need to be. Yeah.
I always feared my annual review because because things were brought up that should have been addressed way back when something happened. And I feel that's a general fear for a lot of people when it comes to an annual review. And then when I started giving performance reviews, that's when I changed the game for the team and really developed it and made it more of I like to call them, let's have a performance conversation rather than a review. Because if you do something good throughout the year, I'm going to tell you when you do something good. I'm not going to save it for 12 months later. And, remember on January 6th at 4:32 p.m. when you saw patient Sally, you said XYZ. No one's going to remember that. It doesn't mean anything at that point. No,
it doesn't. And it's funny that you say that because a previous employer never had performance reviews ever.
Really?
Never had. No. Never had them. Like, you had to ask for them, which is another thing that should not happen. So that was changed. But I will say I had a lot of team members that I worked with directly. And one of them that I hired, I'll never forget it. I had asked her to come into the office just to have a quick chat.
Mm.
And she got so scared. And she got hives on her neck and her face and everything. And I looked at her and I was like, "What is going on?" She's like, "Well, what did I do wrong?" I'm like, "You didn't do anything wrong. I wanted just to talk to you. Like, thank you." And just started praising her. She's like, "Oh my gosh, like my past employer, every time I was asked to go into the office, it was always a bad thing. They never talked to me about anything good." So we had to break that in her mind.
Mm.
So I would just literally ask her like, "Hey, Sally, can you come in here?" And she'd clam up and get all red again. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Here, I made you a cup of coffee." And she's like, "What the heck?" I'm like, "When you come into this office, it's just because I want to just chat and just
Right.
talk and see if there's anything I can do to help you and support you. It's not a bad thing. It's
You're
not a
not
bad
in you're not in trouble.
right. It doesn't It's just when
So
you go into an office, it's not a disciplinary conversation, but this poor team member, because of what had happened to her in the past, she just would break down and have a physical reaction of hives over her
Mhm.
entire body. And we broke it after quite a while. We broke it, but you also need to be mindful of what your team member's past has been and set that
Yes.
expectation up front so they know when you ask to just chat with them, it's not always a bad thing. And it's
Mhm.
it's not always a good thing either. But it's just a conversation. It's
Mhm.
always a conversation. Yeah.
And that I know in previous episodes we've talked about onboarding. Part of the onboarding is learning the personality of your team member.
Yeah.
And that will lend itself to having these conversations. And prior to any performance review, I mean, maybe we need to relabel this, Jen. Like, we can't call it performance review. Like,
No.
what would be a better term to make it more comfortable for everyone in the industry and all of our peers who are doing these daily performance conversations? Kind of, I mean, it's very basic. It gets to the point. It makes it less scary. But I think that
Yeah.
you and I can create a jazzier
Yeah.
name.
We definitely need to chat about that because look, it's not always about their performance. Sometimes it's about mine. What did
True.
I do wrong? Did I do something? Did you not have what you needed to be able to do your job to your best ability because of something that I did? So it might not be their performance, it could be something that I did. It's almost like it's like a reflection moment. It's a reflection conversation instead of a
Mhm.
performance conversation. We need to think of it differently because a lot of times too when people think performance review or performance conversation, they just think about this. They think
Money.
that it's also going to be financially involved, and that is something that you should talk about completely separately. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and that could be like every 6 months, every year. That's a different conversation. You can never and should never tie a performance conversation and a financial conversation and compensation together,
Mhm.
completely separate. Yes,
Mhm.
performance, you take those things into consideration, right? When you're talking
Mhm.
about someone's compensation,
Mhm.
but it's you can't. You need to
Yeah,
separate.
salary reviews are you're right, they are a separate conversation because
Mhm,
money is tied to a different emotion for the team member. And I think that might be one of the scariest things that team members go in to these performance reviews because they're coupled together with a salary review of
mhm,
like, "Oh god, if I don't answer this question correctly or if I'm not performing, then I'm not going to see any increase." That's just a disservice to everyone.
right.
I absolutely agree. Performance conversations and salary conversations should be separate. And
Yeah,
that that's a lot to take in one conversation too. If you couple
yeah,
those together, I
yeah.
know that in my practice, as we were transitioning to separating those two, they were coupled, and it was an exhausting conversation. I'm
Yeah,
talking like an hour and a half, which
yeah,
you don't necessarily need because again, you should be
mhm,
discussing things throughout the year with your team.
correct,
One thing that
correct.
I did found to be very helpful was creating a performance survey
Mm-hmm.
that I would fill out for the team member would fill out themselves, and then the doctor would also fill out. So whoever's sitting chairside with them for most of the
Mm-hmm.
day.
Mm-hmm.
And once I compiled everyone's answers, I'd put it in the grid for the team member and myself to look at together and have a conversation. So if
Mm-hmm.
someone said, your chairside manner could improve, there's room for improvement there. We heard some conversations that come across as harsh, even though you are a direct speaker. So that's something we might need to work on, where they
Mm-hmm.
could see themselves as putting as excellent, that I'm amazing. So
Right.
having eyes from all parts of the practice for these conversations is really impactful in helping your team member grow.
Right. And look, to take it to the next level too, you could include the rest of the team in it. So you could
True.
say, like, look, do a 360, and ask other team members and just have, like 2 questions. Nothing
Not
crazy.
not a dissertation.
No, not a dissertation. Just, ask them I'm going to just use your name, for example, like what has Savannah done in the last 6 months that has, that has directly supported you in your position?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that Savannah can do to, help the patients, the practice, and the team more,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing that you want to make sure is you have to have the right culture to be able to do that.
Yes. Otherwise,
Because,
they feel attacked.
yeah, they feel attacked and then it can turn catty, I will
Yep.
say. And there's no place in the dental practice for that, I will add. But you need to take every team member's, if you're going to do it like that, you have to take every team member's, like, all of the information that you get, and don't just take their complete word for it. It's good to have all of the information, but don't take it for, I'll say, like, Bible. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
just you
And
need to, like, understand a little bit more, but things might come up that you can say, hey, you know what, Savannah, let's talk about this. Now, not specifically about something, but it might help to propel, like, continuing education and all of these other things more, that the team may see something in you or that other team member that they don't see and that you don't see, right? To be
mhm.
able to help your team member that's sitting in front of you that you're doing the evaluation on, like, grow even more.
And I know that sounds scary to everyone listening. And Jen is absolutely right. You need to make sure that your culture is in a positive place, and a unified place before you can do that. And a baby step into doing that is expanding beyond yourself and the doctor to your team leads. If you don't want to
Mhm.
include the whole entire team, your clinical lead, your front desk lead, um, and starting with smaller steps that way. So it's
Yeah.
doable, and you
Mhm.
can scale it to based on the culture of your practice, but it is absolutely something that you should be doing.
Yeah, and don't just go from 0 to 100. It's a gradual change. You can't just say, "We're gonna do these evaluations, and they're gonna be 360 evaluations." You're gonna get shut down. So
And
don't do
also,
that.
it's a lot for you too. So if you're implementing something new and then you receive
Yeah.
all this feedback, what if you receive a piece of feedback that you were not expecting? What if your all-star player turns
Mhm.
out to be the all-star dumpster fire and really is just bringing
Mhm.
everybody down? You want to
Mhm.
make sure that you are prepared for that. So
Yeah.
when you do start implementing these surveys of the team for any type of conversation with a team member for their review, make sure that you give yourself some lag time to
Mhm.
fully comprehend what is being told to you and
Yeah.
figure out how you're going to address it.
Yeah,
This
and
might be something
honestly,
that's bigger than a performance conversation.
oh, yeah. And, like, map out timeframes and what that looks like, because I will say I was part of performance evaluations for I'll say a large team, over 200 team members,
Just a
And
little bit.
yeah, but having like each manager have to do it, and it's like, okay, it's clinical, it's admin, it's this, it's that. And then the review itself is it look, it's not a dissertation. It's you need to just have a few questions. It's really, you know, have some of them be, like fill in a little fill in, and some of them be like a 1 to 5. So that way it's a little bit quicker.
Mhm.
But get something that's manageable, because
Yeah.
I will say those long performance evaluations, ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't no one got time for that.
No, we do not. Nobody does. So you also need to remember, like, you need to review all of those. So even if you're part of a larger team and you have like regional managers and different practices, if you are overseeing that, you then need to look at everyone else's too. It's your responsibility, so you really need to do that. And then last thing I'll say is, you as a leader, you need an evaluation as well.
I was just gonna bring that up. So Jen, we know that there are many team members who are unafraid and have the courage to ask for performance conversations and salary reviews. What about us as managers? That was intimidating for me. I know if that was
Oh,
intimidating for
yeah.
me, how the team feels when they have to come and speak to me directly, even though I'm,
Mhm,
open door, super friendly. Let's get it
mhm.
all out on the table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's difficult, and I will say, for me, personally,
Mhm.
like, I completed my review, right? Filled it out just like every single team member would, and I had to have the conversations with my direct reports. Their team members, they had their conversations with their team members. And I would say, because of that process, I was expecting that myself. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, this is my opportunity because we're all doing it.
Mhm.
I will say, I'm going personal. I was pretty upset. My boss, my direct boss, would not meet with me.
The
And I was
advocating for
just told
yourself
to
is
just sign it, because you have to sign off that you would do it. Yeah. And I'm like, this isn't just a checkbox.
no.
This is something that you need to do. And
I'm
I will
pissed for
say,
you. I'm
huh?
so mad. I'm pissed
Oh
for
yeah,
you.
that's
The
fine. But
hell?
look, when you do something like that, it shows your team members that you you don't have time for them. And that's a big mistake. And look, that's
Mhm.
when we talked about before, like, it's okay if you don't align anymore, right? It's okay. And that was one of the things for me that I was like, man, you're doing all of these things. And I was like, okay, this is something that I need to be mindful of, right? Like, maybe we're not in alignment how I thought that we were, right? So you need to advocate for yourself, though, too. And I did. Don't worry, your girl did.
Oh, good.
And it's important. And you don't need to be rude. You don't need
Mm.
to be negative. It's just, look, I I want you to know that I am expecting to sit down and have a conversation with you about my performance. It's really important to me to understand what I can do better for you and for the team.
Yep. Absolutely.
Right? It doesn't
Absolutely.
need to be anything crazy. It doesn't, you don't need to finger point or get mad or anything like that, because it is easy to do that sometimes. But just
Yeah.
take a breath and just be mindful and just say, look, I want to know what I can do better. So let's talk about it.
Let's chat.
Yeah.
To recap this back in 10 performance conversation. 1, survey not only the team member you are having the conversation with, but clinical leads, doc, and then potentially expand to the rest of the team for anonymous feedback. Jen, what's the second one? So we already have that one. We have number 2.
Number
Thank
2, like,
goodness.
schedule time to sit down and talk to your team about it. And when you both have that time set aside, they're prepared and so are you. So schedule the time to do it.
Schedule the time.
Mhm.
I always loved to schedule
Mhm.
follow-up as well.
Oh,
So
yes.
at the end of that performance conversation, okay, so we are going to have this type of conversation again in 12 months,
Yeah.
as well as our micro conversations throughout the year. But
Mhm.
this is on the
Mhm.
books. I am showing you I am dedicated to helping you progress and grow in the practice.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
And then 3 is keep
Mhm.
your performance conversation and your compensation conversation separate.
Yep. 100%.
There you
100%.
go. Yeah,
There
and I
you
think
go.
in the next episode, we're going to talk about the micro conversations more and how to do those and the importance of them and to not skip those either. Something else that we have to schedule, right?
Yeah, and I'd love for us to have a conversation about advocating for yourself and for your own salary reviews.
Yeah, let's do it.
That comes up in all of the groups, the
Mhm.
boards, is am I being compensated enough? I'm a
Mhm.
superhero, and why is my hygienist making $7 more than me?
Mhm.
So, and that I think that is a really important topic, and the ways in which you can advocate for yourself and the
Mhm.
data needed
Yes.
to really back up the worth,
Yeah.
for sure.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thank you for listening to Back in 10. We are going to go grab some more coffee, and we'll see you in a bit.
See you soon.
Thanks for spending a few minutes with us on Back in 10.
If something made you laugh, nod, or feel a little more human, share it with a friend and make sure that you're subscribed.
You can also follow us on Instagram at Back in 10 Pod for more behind the scenes, updates, and probably a little chaos.
We're not here to have it all figured out. We're just here to tell you the things that we wish someone had told us.
And remind you that leadership doesn't have to be perfect, just real.
We'll be back in 10.